So check this out, guys. I just updated my Snail monster. The first thing you may notice right away is I changed the color of its eyes. It has white eyeballs now. This spring green that you see right here, the whole thing was spring green. And it was really hard to see the eyes. And since I changed the eyes, I think it stands out so much better. It's just amazing how just changing one thing on something can change how it looks. I did leave a little bit of spring green around the black pupil. This would be like the basic iris that I would normally have. But instead of just having the whole thing spring green with the black in the middle, now it has the white there. So it kind of looks like a normal eyeball, and that's the first thing that I changed on this. Another thing is I had this glow-in-the-dark paste all over it, like a chalky residue that just dries into this. It was all in the cracks and crevices really bad. I painted over the majority of that with marsh green. I didn't have this darker green. I don't know what color it was. I don't have any. I made this years and years and years ago. So I kind of painted over some of the real heavy chalky stuff that was there. And the inside of the mouth was a darker purple. It was very washed out from all the times I washed it and stuff. I never sealed this until today. So that when you seal a sculpture, it helps protect it. So because acrylic paints are water soluble, when you get it wet, you can potentially just wash the sculpture, the paint off the sculpture. So I repainted the mouth. The only purple I had was Princess Purple. I'm not joking. That's what it says, Princess Purple. But it was pretty close. I actually like the look at this. It looks really wild to me. And I'll just do a little quick turnaround. I sealed it 2 times. Normally I only seal everything once. I sealed this twice because it's a snail and they're typically wet, moist. And I even got like a really thick layer around the eyes, which helps take away some of the imperfections and stuff of painting. It just looks amazing how this turned out, but it's not quite done. I'm going to make a wood base, and it's fairly simple. I'm going to lay down a sheet of paper that's larger than the sculpture itself, and then I'm going to set the sculpture down on that piece of paper. And then I'm going to just trace around the base with a pencil. I want to make sure that it touches the sculpture everywhere I go. This shows the very unique outline of the sculpture. But I want it to be slightly larger than the sculpture. So to do that, I'm just going to use this protractor. And I have it set to where it's just wide enough to where how I want it to be. This is just preference. I didn't want it to be flush with the sculpture. I wanted it to go out just slightly farther than the sculpture. Now I'm going to take this and doing it at an angle or from the side where I can actually see where I'm going. I'm just going to put the metal part on the line I just drew, and that pencil on there will draw me a line, a new line that's out further. There, I went completely around this, and now I have a double line. The inner line is the actual diameter of the sculpture, and the outer one will be how much further the wood will be. So the next step would just to be cut this out. I think I was able to take some of the squirreliness out of it while I was cutting that. But this is now a template that I can use to make my base. So now I just need to find a piece of wood and then cut this out. Okay, I found me a suitable piece of wood. This is pine, I do believe, and it's not plywood, so I didn't want that layered type of wood. So this will be a lot clean. And it's big enough to where the template will miss any kind of holes and stuff on here. So this piece of wood is going to work. So I'm just going to lay my template down on this and trace all the way around it with a colored pencil. Being very careful not to move the template while doing this. There, I got me a nice good line that I can see. Now the next step would be to cut this. Okay, so this tool I could use to sand the edge and give it a cleaner look, because it's very rough. Okay, we have a much better edge going around this thing. Okay, so I've sanded this with 150 grit sandpaper, just using my hand. I didn't use a block or anything, because there's imperfections from the bandsaw, just a little bit of gouges that didn't quite come out with the drum sanding. This will actually just be characteristics in the wood, the little gouges, and they're very faint, so it's not, I don't think it's really going to be a big deal. Worst thing I can do is just stain this when I'm done, and if it looks too bad, then I can just sand it down again and stain it again. But one thing I want to do before I seal this is I want to take this harsh corner off. I like to bevel it a little bit, so I just took a piece of sandpaper and I rolled it up over a colored pencil and removed the colored pencil and just taped it with some tape. This gives me a nice sturdy, stout, drum that I can sand this edge. So I'll just get started on that. I'm just going to hold this, and that's actually turning out really, really nice. I have now a softer corner. It's an angle. It's a very slight angle. And I just like it. It turned out really well. And instead of sanding the top of this with this on camera, I'm going to use a mouse. That way I could do it outside and it's less mess. So what I have right here is some finish. This is Early American. Early American. It says it dries in 2 hours, resists lapping for even color, rich color in one scoot. Rich color in one coat. I don't know how to read. So I hope it's in good condition. It's probably older than I am. Hey, it looks like a usable material to me. Alright, so I will set this right here. I got my turntable right here, and I just got a tea towel. I plan on being kind of clean doing this. I am in my studio and everything's white, so this is scary. But I'm just going to use a white rag, dab some onto this right here, and then we will see. Oh. Now I don't really need to focus too much on this part because liquid nail is going to go in there. Wow. You gotta be kidding me. That looks so freaking good. I had no idea it was gonna look this good. No way. The bottom says it dries in 2 hours. I could probably do that later after the fact. Or just seal the bottom. It doesn't necessarily need to be stained on the bottom, I don't think, but it should be sealed. That was like a one coat. It says it does it in one coat, and it told the truth. So it's done. Let's take a look at this now. So I have to wait for this to dry for 2 hours, and then I can put this on. I'm going to put clear satin on this. It's a sealer. It's polyurethane sealer. Fast drying. This will make it really, really finished looking.